Something's wrong with the feed. Nagurka, how are we doing back there?
Stand by. I'm checking it out. Don't need that. No, don't want that. No, these. I think I got it. Yep. There it is.
Perfect.
Great.
Good job. All right, Rob, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for bearing with us. We just needed some extra time to work out the kinks a little bit, but we've got a great show lined up for you where we talk about Facebook's new engagement bait policy and a special segment of Ready Takes where we talk to Christine Borman at Tagboard about the very best in social TV graphics and display content. This is Ready Take Live. Welcome back to Ready Take Live, where we give you the latest in tech news and entertainment centered around live video. We help you stay up to date on what's happening and help you bridge the gap between big budget broadcast and live social streaming. We do the show live every Friday from LiveX Studios in Midtown Manhattan, just west of Times Square. So get notified each week by subscribing to @LiveX Production, and we'll be answering your questions using the hashtag ReadyTakeLive, with some help from our friends at Tagboard. And speaking of Tagboard, we're really excited to have Christine Borman joining us later today to talk about the amazing tool for social graphics integration into live shows and venue displays. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, and ideas you may have for future episodes. For the best viewing experience, subscribe to our YouTube page to watch in 4K. But first, let's check out the latest news in live entertainment and welcome Aubrey Russell and Nick Nagurka in the control room to find out what's going on?
Hey, guys.
All right. So let's, Nagurka's back. Aubrey's back. What's up, guys? You had a little trouble there off the start with the signal.
Yeah,
Who puts a stuffed gray wolf back in the MCR though? That seems really silly.
It doesn't belong to me.
Must have been Craig. No, so this week, we are actually going to take a step back first and look back at CES because there was a lot of cool things that came out, and I was on site at CES to help produce and direct the Circuit Breaker live show, which was at live.twitter.com/CES, and we had a great 4 days of shows there. The team from The Verge is so amazing at what they do, and I feel really blessed to be a part of it. So if you missed that, go back, find The Verge's posts on CES and check out some of the live content that we did exclusively on Twitter. Now, Aubrey was really caught by the Intel keynote and some of the things that they did there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you saw at Intel, Aubrey?
Yeah, so Intel's keynote was really cool. We have some stuff on Tagboard for you guys. So this is the right picture. That's not from this year. So they had a full-on keynote where they talked about all of the new things they have going on. They made the point that Intel is not a company that consumers buy directly from. That's not their brand. That's not their purpose. The product that you buy is what comes. Is the company that buys from Intel. You put an Intel chip in your Dell computer. You're not buying from Intel. You're buying from Dell. So what was cool about this year, first of all, I have to give a shout out. They opened with a band, and the band was, they called them the first data-only band, and their name was Algorithm and Blues.
Oh my gosh.
I can't make it up, guys.
Oh.
Best name ever, in my opinion. Gerks, do you have a better band name that you'd rather them use?
I can't think of a better one, but off the top of my head, but
they literally played. They had like drumsticks, and they had gloves on with like chips on their wrists, and the guy playing the drums just used the sticks, and you got all the noise. They're just like air guitaring with gloves, and that's how they played all the instruments, and it was so interesting to watch.
Where can we find this? Can we go back to Intel's site? Can we find it on Twitter?
Yeah, if you just Google Intel's Keynote, you can find it's the very open of their keynote. So they have the full hour and 40 minutes online. I think I found it on EncoderNet, something. It's really easy. It's the top search on Google. So you search there, and then they have that. They did do something smart. They started out and they talked about Meltdown Inspector, the big security breach.
Right.
And it was a very smart PR move to just get that out of the way right off the top. The CEO's not messing around. He knows what he's doing. So, but the big news, the thing that I thought was the coolest was this voxel. So the voxel is, they got the word, combining the words volume, element, and pixel. So normally when something is, there we go, there's a nice. When something is graphed out, it's on a flat grid. But what the voxel allows is like a Rubik's Cube, so it becomes a grid in three-dimensional space. So then they can now map and do positioning with that. So they had a dancer come on, and she had these things on her wrists in the same way that that Algorithm in Blues had on their wrists. And everything she did controlled the floor, which was all a screen.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing. I think that was the coolest thing that Intel did, is they had an entire LED floor across a massive, massive stage, and it looked really, really cool.
Yeah, agreed. And they used it to their advantage. It wasn't like, oh, and look, we put a color up. It was like, no, we're going to use this actively. It helped tell the story of the show. So the voxel was really cool. I think it's awesome that that's what we're getting into. It's interesting to see where other companies will then take that technology, I think, is what's the most interesting part. They did other things. They had an autonomous car drive on the stage. And then I know we're about to talk something about this, but they're doing a big VR push at the Winter Olympics this year. So,
nice.
That was my favorite things about Intel's keynote.
Yeah, real quick before we move on, for those of you who don't know what happened with the Meltdown Spectre issue with Intel, you can read some really great articles from our friends at The Verge. Tom Warren has really gone in depth on a lot of these issues, and I encourage you to look that up if you want a little more background on what happened with Intel's chips. But for now, let's leave CES, let's bid CES goodbye until next year, and let's move on to the upcoming Winter Olympics. And Nagurka, our audio engineer, has some very interesting things that he found with the upcoming production that's going on for the Winter Olympics, starting February 8th, I believe.
Yes. So just like in 2016,
you can take that headlamp off.
Oh, well, I've got my headset on and all that, so... As it is. So just like in 2016, they're going to be broadcasting the Olympics on a one-day delay in UHD with HDR as well. So that's 4K with HDR capabilities.
Now, have they done HDR in the past? I know they've done 4K, but have they done HDR in the past?
They did in 2016, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And it's really interesting. NHK, which is the Japanese national broadcaster, as well as the Olympic Broadcasting Services, are actually shooting natively in 8K.
Yes.
And then they're down-resing to 4K for their world feed. They're the host broadcaster.
Yeah, and so for those of you who don't know, NHK has been really a pioneer in all broadcast technology. We kind of take everything much later than NHK does. NHK has been broadcasting in full 8K, actually, for some things in Japan. And so they're a natural fit to handle the 4K transmission for the Olympics.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. And also, so in the US, the broadcast will be picked up by NBC. In the UK, it'll be by the BBC. As well as, let's see, we've got, Comcast's pay-to-play platform, X1 and Xfinity. Streaming services will also be offering a selection of those events, which include the opening ceremony, snowboarding, hockey, figure skating, and ski jumping. So I'm really excited to watch that coverage.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I can't wait to see all these competitors again. Lindsey Vonn. Who's the American figure skater who is going to be the second woman ever to complete a triple axel? I can't think of her name off the top of my head.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I just saw it, Tanya. Oh, man, I forgot her name.
That's all right.
Do you know, Gerks?
No, not off the top of my head.
No one cares. But I would just say, I would just say that you got to tune in for the figure skating. And for those of you who aren't into figure skating, completely understand. But I think that we're going to see a real resurgence to the popularity of figure skating that harkens back to the days of Nancy Kerrigan, Brian Boitano, Tanya Harding. And I think that this year, because of all the buzz surrounded with this Olympics, that it's going to be a really huge event to be a part of. So.
Yeah, I think that this will be the first Olympics in Olympic history when all the good stuff comes the day after it actually happened. You're going to be able to go. You're going to be able to see it in VR. You're going to be able to see it in 4K, and it's the first time that's ever. I almost don't want to watch the Olympics live. I'm like, I'll just wait a day. I'll watch it in 4K. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no doubt. So starts, Gurka, let's go back to you. So it starts February 8th, right? What kind of, is it continuous coverage on Olympic Channel? Do you know like anything of what times people can watch? Are we going to see it all the time on NBC? Or what is the deal there?
Well, the 4K coverage itself was going to be on a one-day delay. And so it'll be selective coverage of that. And I'm not exactly sure what it must be a technical hurdle. It's either a technical hurdle or a conscious choice to air those at a more primetime slot. But as far as the coverage, I'm sure you'll be able to stream it. But I don't know the exact times off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I'm really excited. I love watching the Olympics. I'm really glad it's back again this year. And what about that location this year? It's in South Korea.
It is. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So
listen.
No, it's gonna be interesting. There's obviously a lot of political things happening with this Olympics, and that makes it hard. But I like to talk about all the cool technical things that they're doing that we've never done before. And this is such a cool platform for us to try it. They've obviously been testing it, but for it to be available to the public for one of the first times. And it's such a widely viewed event, and I love good, solid family entertainment. That's what the Olympics is for.
Yeah.
And Ready Take Live. We're really the same thing.
I mean,
Ready
it's
Take
basically
Live, Olympics.
It's basically like the same kind of coverage here, one of the things I was mentioning about it being in South Korea, I think the coolest thing about the Olympics is its ability to bring communities together and to bring the whole world together, to be, a citizen of the world, and we're all just humans, and we're all just trying to get along and come together at least every 4 years as an entire globe of people to celebrate, commemorate, and honor these great athletes and the achievements that they've done. The coolest thing I saw as far as Olympic news is concerned is that South Korea and North Korea will be marching in the opening ceremonies to a unified Korean flag. Which I think is really, really amazing.
It's very weird. I don't know how I feel about it, though. I get that you feel amazed by it. I'm a little confused by it.
It's a huge step in the right direction. I mean, recently, I believe the first time in many, many years, North Korea and South Korea sat down and discussed the nuclear programs and the border and what they were going to do. And they expressed interest in at least opening more talks between the North and South and getting it together. I think that's really cool. And I'm really glad that we have the Olympics coming up. And also, just one last thing before we leave our news segment. This Tuesday, November 23rd, live at 10 a.m., we are actually helping DJI with directing their product launch. It's been teased as DJI Live, Adventure Unfolds, Find Your Adventure. So there you can see here something is coming. Join us for the next big thing. The next DJI Adventure Unfolds on January 23rd. So join us and everyone else who's waiting with eager anticipation to find out what it is that they're going to launch at live.dji.com. I mean, even though I am handling the live stream portion of it, I have no clue what DJI is going to release. They do a very good job at keeping us out of the loops just enough so that we don't know the exact product.
Yeah, that video is it's just beauty shots.
It is, and I love the VO. If you go to live.dji.com, the voiceover on that show or that promo video is pretty amazing. It's got a very storied and historic feel to it, and I'm really excited about this. This will be the third time that LiveX has handled a DJI's New York product launch. The last time was at Grand Central with the Spark, and the time before that was the Mavic Pro. And we are returning to a similar location, and we are going to do it big for DJI on Tuesday. So keep an eye out. Tuesday, November 23rd, 10 a.m., DJI launch. It's going to be on DJI's Facebook page, their YouTube page, and at live.dji.com. So definitely want to check that out for anyone who's into drones or Ronins or anything that DJI makes. They're such an amazing company, and they've really just dominated the entire UAV market. So I'm really excited to see what the next thing is that they have in store for us. So I think I heard a little bit of our guest bleeding in here, so I don't want to take up too much more time. Let's see if we can bring her in next, and we'll just wrap this up for our news segment. That's what's going on in live media. Stick around for our in-depth segment later on Facebook's new engagement policy. But first, let's welcome in Christine Bonin for a live demo of our favorite social integration tool, Tagboard. This is a special edition of Ready Takes, and it starts right now. Welcome, Christine. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a little earlier. You're on the West Coast, and we're here in the East Coast. And I know you just got out of a meeting and everything. So
no worries.
Really, really excited to have you on. Let me tell you all a little bit before of how I came to know Christine. We got to know Christine and Brielle at Tagboard through some of our friends and partners, and Christine walked us through setting up our first Tagboard, and it was absolutely amazing. And so for those of you who don't know what Tagboard is, Christine, could you take a moment and give us an overview of the product? And I think we have a little video to roll to show it off a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for having us. Social media has kind of changed the game a little bit. It's changed how we're part of our communities, how journalists tell stories, how you can interact with your favorite show or athlete or actress. So Tagboard meets you there, kind of in two prongs. The first side of Tagboard is the discovery element, helping you sift through the online conversation, helping you find the conversations that matter in your world. And the second side is helping you display it. So helping you show those social conversations and turn it into a powerful story. So, we have a lot of different broadcast examples you guys are checking out, being able to see some of our different touchscreen capabilities, full screen, broadcast built for lower third or tickers, interactive displays, whether it's hashtag battles, getting your viewers involved. So turning the social media chatter that already exists and, bringing it into a powerful display story that allows you to tell your story.
That's awesome. Yeah, love it. We used Tagboard on a bunch of different shows before finally getting it in-house, and we were always impressed with how easy and effective it was for pulling in social comments and posts that are live, as well as being a powerful display tool for on-set screens and venue display that you saw some of. But it wasn't until Christine gave us our first full demo that we were really blown away with all that it can do. And I wanted to invite you on the show because I've seen a lot of demos on a lot of products, and more often than not, they leave me uninspired or more confused than when we first began the conversation. But with you and with Tagboard, it was completely different, and you personally took the time to get us set up with a custom design and walked us through all the different display options and ways to feature content. Can you take a moment to walk us through how it works in the real world with getting your hands on Tagboard?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll kind of invite you guys to check out my screen. You see Tagboard up on a display, like you mentioned, maybe your local news or at an event, a concert. This is kind of the side that not everybody gets to kind of see behind the curtain, but this is the side where we think Tagboard really shines because of how easy it is. It's easy, safe, it's quick. It's built for busy people who don't have a lot of time to do this in just a few clicks. So basically, we like to say Tagboard's 3 simple steps. Everybody has a basic dashboard here, and you can build Tagboard. You create the Tagboard, you locate that amazing content, and then you display it on your property. So the first step really is just to create the Tagboard. Everything starts with a hashtag at Tagboard. That's kind of our first base level. And for instance, today I'm just gonna go ahead and we'll do 2018 Olympics. We've got that just around the corner. So you just go ahead and create your Tagboard. I've got a Tagboard created here already, and how it works is we'll give you a social dashboard. So we have what we call the latest tab. Think of it really like your social media funnel, and it's gonna bring in everything, all the public posts that use your hashtag. So here we've got 2018 Olympics. You see it coming in from Instagram, we'll pull in Twitter, we'll pull in, Facebook, Google+, Flickr, you name it, it's gonna appear right here, all curated into one really easy spot for you to see all the content at once. So like cool. I mentioned, this is our first layer. This is the hashtag layer. The second layer is going to be a little bit more robust search. So that's our Tagboard advanced search. I'll go ahead and slide open this panel here. And this is where you can search not just by hashtag, but by keyword. You see, I've got the Olympics here by username, by location. You can filter out what kind of post you're looking for. So, to give you a little bit of an example here, let's go ahead and do a search for the Olympics. And we'll go ahead and we're looking for something really, really specific. Let's go ahead and go to Mammoth, since that's where we've got some qualifiers going on right now.
Very
and you
cool.
can see we're going to generate an interface with a map here, showing you exactly where these posts are being sent out. We've got some of the athletes competing in those qualifiers. We got Shaun White here. So you're getting the quality content that matters that you're going to then be able to use to tell a great story. We even have some of the filters if I pop over here to the further right to show you what type of post you want, what network you want it to come from. And one of our newest, most popular filters is the verified user filter. So only get that content from the checkmarked verified accounts looking for celebrities, influencers, athletes, lawmakers. So we'll give you ways to kind of hone in your search so you can find the best content available.
So
Once
cool.
you start to find that great content, it's as easy as clicking on feature post on the top of each post here. And that's basically indicating that's the one I want to show up on my display. Simple as that. I'll go ahead and minimize my advanced search browser here. Pop on back over to my Tagboard, and you'll notice I have a second tab here that says featured. 2 new posts, click on in, and here's those 2 posts that I just sent to my Tagboard. So that content, it's safe, it's verified, you have eyes on it. Tagboard's never gonna pop up posts that you didn't want to show on air, on your live stream. So you curate the content here, and Tagboard gives you the abilities, kind of like you mentioned, to be able to curate content in different ways. So one is right here from within your dashboard, but we understand that most everybody in this world, you guys are great at finding and sourcing social content elsewhere. So for example, I've got the LiveX page open here, and I've got my Chrome extension. So I'm going to go ahead and click and show you how this works. You can use the Tagboard Chrome extension to load content directly from the source networks right to your Tagboard. So you'll see I've got my 2018 Olympics Tagboard right here.
This is my favorite thing. This is my favorite thing that you all do. I mean,
and I'm right here with you. This is my favorite thing too.
Yeah, the Chrome extension has simplified our graphic solution and made it so much easier that anybody who works for us can quickly just add content that'll come right into the show. The graphics ops don't even have to review it or anything like that. They can just click it and open the Tagboard, and they can see everything that the line producers want to feature in the show. So.
I love it. I love it. You'll say it better than I can, but I'll just show it.
Sure. Yeah,
you got the little blue arrow here, and it says feature to my Tagboard. Simple as that. Click it once. If you look in the upper right side of the screen, content featured, that was it. I sent it, it's done. Now this works, I know I'm showing it to you on Facebook. It'll work on Facebook Live. It works on Facebook comments. So if I wanted to send, comments here coming from you guys, huge thanks to Tagboard, thank you. We'll send that comment on over. It works on Twitter. If you use TweetDeck, if you use CrowdTangle, it'll work on Periscope. It'll work on Facebook Live, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. Jump back over to Tagboard to show you here. I've got 2 new posts, and there they are. I've got that live video coming from you guys. I've got that comment here.
Yeah.
And kind of as a little bonus to show you guys as well, if I pop open this video, let me mute it before it starts here. On the right-hand side, you can see all the comments too. So if you guys live stream like this, you see a lot of people coming in, posting live. You can feature those comments in real time right here from right within the Tagboard modal. That's a huge payoff when your viewers, when you encourage them to comment, they take the time, they do comment, and then seconds later, they see their comment pop up on screen and they feel like they're a part of the show. So we make that super easy right here.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing. I mean, some of you are seeing this on Christine's screen share, so you saw it buffer a little bit, but I will say that it plays out perfectly smooth. And one of the coolest things, and that's without a doubt. I mean, we use it all the time. You see some of the videos in the show that are played out using Tagboard, and everything plays perfectly smooth. So don't think that buffer had anything to do with it. It's just because we're bringing in her screen share, and so there's a little bit of a lag time issue happening there. But one of the things that you talked about was that you can feature stuff from Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, like anything that's considered social and whatever. One of the coolest things, especially for this show and our beat, so to speak, is that you can also feature live videos while they're actually live, and you'll see them playing and populating while they're live. And I think that is like really amazing. I'd never seen anything that you could just have like somebody add in and then it can show up as the live video. In the past, we used to have to do all sorts of like methods of like screen capture into the live show to be able to show actual live content, especially if we didn't have like the RTSP details to like pull in an RTMP stream directly. So we would have to bring that in through some sort of capture machine and spit it back out in real time. But Tagboard has really simplified that and allowed us and everyone who uses Tagboard to feature live content while it's actually live, and that's really, really cool. But Tagboard isn't just about, actually, wait, before I move on, can you just show us maybe 1 or 2 of your favorite display types? We kind of went over how Tagboard works and how you add stuff to your Tagboard, and now let's see a little bit of how you can use the display.
Yeah, so great. To bring it full circle, I'll show you how easy it is. You watched me, like you mentioned, you may see a little bit of buffering here since this is my screen share, but you watched me kind of bring those comments in. Simple as that. Here's the display. Again, this is just our basic template here. So what you're seeing is our basic blue background, our basic, text. And I want to give you a little bit of an idea of how we can really make this custom. So let me show you here what I've got. I've got our isolated display. While I pull this live, let me mention that one of the cool things about Tagboard, like you mentioned, it's kind of the graphics of the future. It's no longer a system where you have to program it. It's happening live. Now I've got 2 examples here that I'll pull up the exact same display, but it's a different background. So again, isolated display, cool. But we popped in a background. We've changed the color of the post here. We've changed how that post animates on the screen. So same display, but you can see how custom it can really get, to kind of give you another little idea here of, how different it can even get. Again, this is isolated as well, but, we eliminated the text. We created more of a square, and again, a completely different animation. So same content, same display, so many different ways. Like you mentioned, we have a lot of different displays. This is just our single post display. If I were to highlight just my favorites, let me show you 2 or 3 that are my absolute favorites, especially since we're talking broadcast here. This is our Waterfall Interactive.
This should look familiar to Ready Take Live users, as well as I work on the Mr. Robot Digital After Show and a lot of other Verge shows that use this display, as well as MMA Fighting for the MMA Hour, MMA Beat. We use the Waterfall Interactive to play out a lot of our content. It really is kind of the go-to display if you're just using it as like full screen graphics, but we will talk a little bit more about some of the other things if you're using it in a display on set or something like that. So not to cut you off, but go right ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And you're right. This is one of our most used displays, especially among our broadcast partners, because it's completely interactive. So I can choose to pop open posts. I can choose to play those video, to toggle through, pause for a moment, read it. Your anchor, your host is completely in control of the display here. They own the conversation. Like you mentioned, we do have a lot of kind of really broadcast-driven displays. I'll point out specifically maybe our lower third. Something that broadcast people are really familiar with. Lower third, chroma key display here at the bottom of the screen. But let me click through some of these here a little bit quicker to show you something that is different about Tagboard's lower third. You'll notice we show video and pictures. So rather than just being kind of more of a static text-only ticker there, let the video play out. That's why people are going to social media. They're posting pictures, they're posting videos. So we want that to be able to be a part of this display as well. Some of my other favorites that I'll point out here, we do have the Heatmap. It's going to launch in Seattle, since that's, like you mentioned, that's where I'm located out here over on the West Coast.
How's the weather out in Seattle?
Rainy as usual.
Okay, so another beautiful day in Seattle.
Another beautiful day over here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But I'll zoom out on the map here. You can show a little bit more of the world. As I start to zoom out, you see those hot spots developing across the US, across the world, over in Pyeongchang where the Olympics are going to be. That's where people are actively right now using the hashtag 2018 Olympics. So it's turning social media into a visual storytelling tool. And like we said, creating a powerful story off of a conversation that already exists. But Tagboard kind of helps you find and harness that and turn it into something that's valuable for your community. So Heatmap is definitely one of my favorites. If you have time, I'll show you one last one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we do have a video that I think we were gonna try and roll off the top, but it really shows how these things play out on air. And so maybe while you're showing us this last one here, we'll get that queued up and roll that after, and then I'll talk over that one, and we can go from there. But yeah, show us this last display. Yeah.
Perfect. So how our hashtag battle works is, obviously right now we've got one hashtag only. It's not much of a battle. So if I go back to our Tagboard, there's a lot of crazy grid hidden settings here that if we had all the time in the world, I'd tell you all about them. But one of them right off the bat is we can add up to 10 hashtags on any Tagboard. So I'll go ahead here, for example, and we'll go ahead and add, maybe snowboarding, maybe skiing. We'll pause there for a moment. Now, if I go back to my Tagboard, go ahead and relaunch my battle here with all my hashtags. So every
so
Tagboard display has its own set of settings. I know you kind of mentioned we give you guys as much control as we can to customize this.
Yeah.
So you can control your hashtag here. You can make it more of a poll for your viewers. What's your favorite Olympic sport? Change how it looks, change the colors of these bars. Change when we're having this vote take place. When do you want? Let's go back to the beginning of the week to see if we can get a little more votes here. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. Let's take it full screen to show you how this works. Basically, you invite your viewers to head over to their social media channels and use hashtag snowboarding or hashtag skiing to participate. So it's an amazing engagement tool, and it's in real time. So we just saw 2 votes come in, one for each snowboarding and one for skiing right here while we're watching. So somebody at home using these hashtags here, and you can extend how long your viewers are watching. You can get them to tweet about your show, and when you're ready, you can give the payoff by announcing the winner live on air. So it's completely interactive. It's completely something to drive up engagement and get people talking about you guys on social media. So that's kind of one of my favorite displays that I wanted to make sure we got to highlight with you, because it is something that's a little different than your typical social display.
Yeah, it is so cool, and it is so difficult to do live social polling. I'm sure that's why you all developed this. And so many people try to figure out ways to do live social polling. And initially people would be on Facebook and say, oh, hit like if you want this one, or hit the love button if you like this one, or whatever. Well, with it's apropos to our episode today on Facebook's engagement bait policy, because Facebook has killed that entirely. You can't ask for likes, you can't ask for shares, you can't ask for anything like that would prompt something to shut down your or demote your live video posts. So this is a really cool way around that, in that it's not a workaround, it's actually a true solution, in that you can just ask people, because they can't say that people can't tweet or comment or whatever using the hashtag skiing, because that would shut down a lot of people who weren't even involved in the post. So, this is a really cool way to create engagement and stuff like that. We do have a video of how these cool displays. So what you've been seeing is kind of the generic base plate, and what you're able to see now. This is actually the venue display one. Do we have the other video? I'm sorry, guys. We need video one, which is the main video that shows how it's played out on air. So stand by just a second. I think we're gonna get that queued up. But basically, so you've been seeing a lot of the generic base plate of Tagboard, and it's something that you just start with. But what you're seeing here's the right video. We have, this is the golf channel, where we're seeing the morning drive, and we're seeing the talent interact with a giant touchscreen to bring up more tweets and Instagrams. Right here, we're the 24 hours of reality, where we're seeing a heat map of all of the hashtags being used in the Tagboard. For Billboard, Latin American Billboard 2016, they used the Tagboard display for big interactive displays. And here you can see a very custom look at what the hashtag battle looks like. Also on TRL, you're gonna see here that this is the grid display, I believe, for these Halloween makeup. It's a really cool way to show off all of that designer's Instagram. And then here's another one, which is a very custom lower third option that they use for the Golf Channel with this interview with Tiger Woods, showing tweets from Michael Phelps, Steph Curry, stuff like that. And then obviously here's a news channel, which is using our favorite display that you've seen here on Ready Take Live, which is the Waterfall Interactive. One of the coolest things about that Waterfall Interactive is that you can have talent on set with a touchscreen who can actually affect and call up graphics in real time. In the past, the way they used to do this on broadcast was to have the talent touch the screen, but they weren't actually doing anything. It was a graphics person in the background driving a wall and changing that graphic as they touch the screen to make it look like they were interacting with it. But with Tagboard, you can actually interact with those posts in real time, giving your host full control. That's one of the things that we really love. And those are just a few ways that we've seen Tagboard used and that we really love, and why we were so happy to link up with you guys and start using Tagboard in Ready Take Live. But Tagboard isn't just about on-air graphics. It can also create really dynamic and engaging display content for venues and events. Can you tell us a little bit more about how Tagboard is used for large-scale display?
Yeah, so we do it all. You guys have focused on a lot of the broadcast and things like that. But like you mentioned, events, it can be a really big event. It can be a huge concert. We've done 40-foot murals at concerts. It can be a small event. We've done, conferences that are 100 people. We've done sporting events, in stadium. If you go to some NFL teams, if you go to MLB stadiums, if you go to hockey, basketball, you see those times where the team is saying, hey, post your pictures using a hashtag. We want to see, you at the game. Who are you watching with? Where are you watching? And our technology allows you to power that screen, whether it's in your stadium. We like to say, since we're web-based, wherever you can take the internet, you can take Tagboard. And we're all about kind of building communities together. So concerts, sports, events, conferences, holiday parties, any kind of gathering, anywhere where you have people using social media and you've got a story to tell, let your community tell your story. We'll help you pull it all together to visually display it. So, we have a lot of fun doing a lot of different, really, really awesome events, sporting events, and broadcast is just, a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge problem solver for anyone who's into event management and who needs to handle audience engagement and display, play out. Also, it's just an easy to use tool to fill all of your screens. Because if you have a venue that's filled with a bunch of screens and you don't know what kind of content to put in it, you have to have a lot of really intensive motion graphic art, VFX to go in and populate those displays with a lot of different cool graphics and things like that to keep the public engaged, to keep the audience engaged. But what better way than to keep them engaged than to bring in their own photos, their own videos, and their own tweets, Facebook, stuff like that in real time. And so when you're at a concert or something, you tweet something, use the hashtag that they're prompting you to, and you'll see it there up on the big screen. I think it's so cool. So it's been... Yeah, go ahead.
It's a blast. We even see clients who come back and say, hey, when we put that Tagboard up on our screen, we saw a bump of people using our hashtag and people posting more and wanting to see themselves up on the board. And so it's a win-win all around, and it's so easy to use that, our goal is to make it possible to put it anywhere somebody wants to put it on any screen. So exactly. You say it better than I do.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but it's been really great to see Tagboard growing in popularity, and I feel like it's everywhere right now. My old live stream colleague, Tom Sullivan, I know you guys work with a lot, and Eddie Delbridge, and out there on the West Coast, he told me you guys had a hand in creating some really awesome AR graphics set in kind of a Z space for the Verizon 360 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Is that right? Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, and I don't know if you've got those examples over there to check out.
We do. We're looking at it.
They do more justice than my words, but
So here's a billboard that we see. A billboard
props
overlay.
to Eddie and Tom for some amazing creativity on this one. We were able to. Those billboards are all AR. So everything there is all Tagboard and augmented reality. And, for people at home to give them this amazing Thanksgiving Day parade experience where they were on a 360 YouTube video and they could actually move the camera around, look at different parts of the parade route, zoom in and see the social post as if we had put Tagboard up on skyscrapers, in New York City. And the social hosts, they pretended like they were on a set. That whole video board was all AR. It was all augmented reality. It was all, imagined there, but looked amazing when you were watching it at home. And like I said, Eddie and Tom, they had this amazing vision that we were so excited to be a part of and make it come to life. But with augmented reality and, AR coming and being kind of the next hot thing, VR, we're excited to kind of venture into that space.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny for me because seeing some of those buildings, and I know those buildings because we live in New York, and I was like, wait, there's no billboard on that building. So it was really cool to see.
We did our job right then.
I said, how are they doing that? It was really, really cool to see. And I think it's another good display of how customizable Tagboard can be for really high level broadcast events because a lot of people may just look at the interactive waterfall that's so popular and not really realize how many different ways that Tagboard can be used. And I think that's one of the coolest examples of really innovative graphic content and play out for a large scale event like the Macy's parade. So well done, hats off to you and everyone at Tagboard. And
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, we are so happy that we had you on. This was really awesome. We're really grateful for all your help and to Tagboard for creating such a cool product. If you have any questions for Tagboard, you can leave them in the comments section or tweet them to @Tagboard. Their hashtag that they use for a lot of things is #SocialTV, #SocialTV. Or you can obviously send them to us at LiveX Production. If you want to look at some of the amazing work they do, then just head on over to tagboard.com as well as their YouTube page. They've got a lot of really cool examples up there as well. So thanks again, Christine, for joining us today. It was really a pleasure having you on. We were really excited to have you come into Ready Take Live and show off Tagboard because it's a product that we really believe in and we think that our audience can get a lot of good use out of.
Well, thank you for having me. We appreciate it, and it's been awesome to be here.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks again. Okay, so this part in the show is where we would normally go to our in-depth segment, and I would be giving you my latest straight-to-camera, John Oliver style rant on the topic of the week. But unfortunately, I'm hearing in the back that we really need to wrap this up. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna save talking about Facebook's engagement bait policy for next week. I know it's a really hot topic, so I really hope you tune in for that discussion.
So if that's not enough clickbait, engagement bait, you should like this video if you're gonna watch it next week.
I guess that's kind of our own sort of engagement bait by teasing a segment about engagement bait and then not actually delivering it. Whatever, I'm sure you guys had a great time with Christine and myself. But engagement bait is so important. So we really do want you to tune back in next week for that segment because it can really help improve your effectiveness on how you rank on social media. Algorithm changes can be a total nightmare for content creators. And we've got some great thoughts on how to craft posts and videos that work within their guidelines, but can still be compelling and engaging. So that's all the time we have on this week's episode of Ready Take Live. I'm Rob Baynard, and if you like this show and want to be notified, hit the like button at LiveX Productions Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch this in 4K resolution. And send us your questions and comments to @LiveX Production using the hashtag ReadyTakeLive. Big thanks to Christine at Tagboard and everyone at Tagboard for joining us on this show, and huge thanks to Wowza for their Clearcaster encoder that we use for Facebook Live. It's really an amazing product. You should check that out as well. We have an unboxing video and another feature video coming out later that you can check out on that. As always, I'd like to thank our founder, Corey Banke, and LiveX Studios in Manhattan, and everyone in the back working so hard to make this show possible. For Ready Take Live, I'm Rob Baynard, wishing you the best of luck on your next live production. Take care, guys.
Take me away from you.